Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Diana and today we're gonna finish off the house series. We're gonna talk about the 12th house. So in this video I'm gonna go over the planets in the 12th house, what the 12th house means, and really what you can do to help out your 12th house planets, because a lot of them need help. They need to come out. I guess karmic house, it's the house of self-undoing, it's the house of isolation, it rules hospitals, mental health institutions, prisons, and also that can lead you to transcendence and an unconditional love, and also oneness with God. So the 12th house, you know, even though it may seem scary, it's important that we pay a lot of attention, especially to planets in this house, because they're hidden in our subconscious. A lot of the planets in the 12th house may feel like you're in like they're in jail or they can't come out. Like a lot of suppression comes with 12th house. A lot of times what happened with planets in the 12th house is your upbringing, your parents, your caretakers, your life experiences taught you to suppress them. The pain and the experiences that we go through in childhood, they don't really go away. You can't make them go away. So they stay in your unconscious and they come out. Usually planets in the 12th house, if you're not aware of it, they come out without you realizing it. So some people may act as victims or martyrs, or people who just struggled a lot through life. The 12th house, like I said in the beginning, is also karma. It's, you know, are you doing good in this life? You'll get rewarded. Did you come from a past life full of, you know, being selfish or just overdoing things? Now in this life you're having to repay and learn some lessons here. The 12th house is like the blind spot in our charts. We can't access the 12th house easily. Sometimes we can access it through dreams, or sometimes the actions of these planets that are in here come about in the moments that we least want them to, and they kind of shake us. So it's important that we become aware of our actions with these 12th house planets. It's important that we understand that we're not victims of life, that, you know, our parents did things to us, but in adulthood we face, you know, our monsters and the things that we hide come out of the closet and we deal with them. We learn that it's okay to be sorry for ourselves. It's okay to cry. It's okay to not be okay. Aware of our unconscious behaviors, we can bring them about and share them with people, teach people. We can thank God for the lessons and the karmic lessons of the 12th house. We can become one with God a lot easier, because the 12th house is scary. It kind of sucks sometimes. But these people that have a lot of 12th house energy also have the powers to be such amazing, powerful healers. They have the power because they know that life is hard. And they have the power to be these mediums that can talk to, you know, worldly things. They have an understanding of God. A lot of the times people with a lot of 12th house energy can teach the rest of the world a lot of things about why we're here and what life is all about and what oneness with God really feels like. People with 12th house planets know all about unconditional love. And this is really a beautiful house, and if we really tap into the planets there, we'll find hidden treasures. So let's go and talk about the sun in the 12th house. So the sun in the 12th house would mean that your parents, your upbringing, somehow you never felt special when you were growing up. You were treated like everyone else. So now as an adult, you go about your world doing a lot of, you go about your life doing a lot of soul searching. Like, you know, maybe you get into like sports, you get into dancing, you get into drugs. You do everything for attention. A lot of people with the sun in the 12th house, they can get into a lot of trouble, but that's only because they're trying to desperately find their ego. They're trying to feel like they have an identity which they were robbed from because maybe their parents didn't pay attention to them. Maybe their parents were lost in their own world. You know, maybe their parents were on drugs. Maybe just didn't feel special. So they search and search all their lives to find a way for people to give them an identity. And at the same time, because the 12th house also is like the house of your enemies and who you attract, people with the sun in the 12th house may really hate egotistical people. They may hate people who just have it all together and have their identity and they're known as something, because inside that's what they're repressing. So it's important for a 12th house person to find something that makes them feel good, something that gives them a sense of being. And then, you know, with the sun in the 12th house, then you can help other people find their sense of being and really relate to people who need that. Your sun in the 12th house, it's like Pisces too. You guys are sensitive. You guys are nice. You guys care. You guys want to spread unconditional love, and that's part of you growing up into your identity, knowing that you have that in you. Okay, so let's talk about the moon in the 12th house. The moon in the 12th house is tough. It means that you were deprived of nurturing. You may have had a mother that was narcissistic, that had some type of sickness, that had a drug problem, alcohol problem, where you needed to take care of her. You needed to nurture her as a little kid. You really lost out on nurturing, and as a result, you put that away. It's hidden in your subconscious, like that you're this needy child that really needs love and affection, and it kills you inside. And so now as an adult, you grow up into this world and you fall for people that really need you. You're a savior for a lot of people. And then people take advantage of you, and the cycle keeps repeating until you realize yourself that it's okay to feel like you need nurturing. You realize that you probably did have it tough. You don't know how to express your emotions. Once you're aware of that, you can fix it. You can people, you can attract people that can help you, and nurture you. You have to accept that you need that. And it also kills you to see people complaining about their life and being emotional about their life, because inside you're probably thinking that they didn't have it as bad as you. Aside from that, moon in the 12th house also gives you really intuitive gifts. You know when people need to be coddled and cradled. You know when people are hurting, and you draw people like that to you because it kind of makes you feel better about yourself, that you're a nurturer, because that's what you're used to your whole life. But in order to be a great nurturer and healer, you need to heal yourself first. Mercury in the 12th house. So Mercury in the 12th house would mean that you probably were deprived of your own special thoughts, your own way of communication. Maybe you were told to shut up a lot, or maybe in worser scenarios, you had like a disability that didn't let people fully understand you. So as a result, now as an adult, you don't talk. You're shy. Maybe you shut everyone out because you're just tired of being misunderstood. Maybe you feel like you have super disorganized thoughts. Maybe your thoughts are too emotional and you don't want to express them out of fear. The 12th house definitely represents a lot of fear. So the wonderful thing about Mercury in the 12th house is that you have the ability to you have a different type of intelligence, I should say. You can communicate and understand maybe like godly lessons. You can understand symbols. You can understand spirituality a lot better than other people. This way, if you communicate about 12th house matters, if you communicate about love and about, oneness with God, if you communicate about transcendence and your experiences maybe through your dreams, You'll be able to show the world a lot. Like, you have a lot of spiritual intelligence with Mercury in the 12th house. Venus in the 12th house. Venus in the 12th house definitely means that your love, out of all the placements here, is unconditional. You truly know what it means, you know, to love someone and not judge people. You see beyond the body or anything physical in this material world, which is so beautiful. But it also means that as a child, maybe you were deprived of feeling valuable. You were deprived of, like, maybe like saying that you're deprived of knowing what makes you happy and gives you pleasure. That was shut down. Or you were deprived of, like, feeling beautiful. So as a result, in order to give you self-worth, now you go after people where you can help them feel beautiful. You can give them worth. Fall for people that need you. You maybe fall for women or men who are all over the place, disorganized, crazy, or on drugs or on alcohol, because you feel like you really can help them, and that gives you your self-worth. But at the same time, you need to work on your own self-esteem, because maybe you will low-key hate people that, you know, have all the glamour and the pleasures of life, because you never had that and you desperately crave it. And so you need to work on that, because you're too vulnerable. Your love is too vulnerable. But at the same time, you probably have this really strong, loving connection with God. God is your everything, because that's what you had to learn to value if you were deprived of everything else. Probably could be hidden. So you probably fall for people that are not available for you. Maybe people who are married or in relationships, or who only want you on their terms. And that's going to keep opening the wound of Venus in the 12th house if you don't, step out of that. Or you keep your relationships hidden. You feel like you are not entitled to have a public relationship with people, or something's going to damage it. So it doesn't fully let you enjoy the benefits of a relationship with Venus in the 12th house. So Mars in the 12th house would mean that you were, as a child, deprived of being selfish. So you wanted something and your parents were like, no, you can't have that, you shouldn't have that. Or you wanted to, like, release your anger, and you were taught that that's not nice. So Mars gets put in the 12th house, it gets hidden and repressed for years. And so it becomes self-destructive if you're not aware of it and let it out. You can't hold in that much energy. Mars is the warrior. Mars wants to go. Mars wants to fight. It wants to release. So, your Mars can end up coming out in situations where you don't want it to come out. You probably have the energy to fight for people who are suffering. You have the motivation, and you don't tolerate people who take advantage of the vulnerable and weak. But since Mars is more of a masculine energy, that would mean the masculine person or caregiver in your life, you may have had a lot of problems with them. You may have argued a lot with them. Therefore, you don't have a good relationship with them. Either way, with Mars in the 12th house, it means that you have to bring out your anger. You have to understand that it's okay to be angry and feel negative emotions. Let them out in a healthy way. And then also know that you can be so active in the spiritual transcending field. You may even have active dream. Jupiter in the 12th house is beautiful, because Jupiter blesses any house that it's in, right? So it's going to expand the house of dreams. It's going to expand the house of transcendence and oneness with God. Jupiter brings this kind of wisdom to this house. So people with this placement may know what life's like, why we're all here. They may know, what God feels like. They may feel even like godly all the time. These people can obviously also have powerful healing gifts, and the more that they use them, like, the better that they get. That comes really easily to them. Meditation, transcending, everything is easy. Getting out of their heads is easy to them. But since Jupiter also expands the other areas of the 12th house, which are isolation, these people will probably need a lot of isolation. They probably will need a lot of space to their own so that they can recharge, because usually these people are pretty positive about life, but they do need to recharge. And then these people are also prone to overdoing a lot of things. Like they're prone to overdoing drugs or alcohol or things like that if they don't use their Jupiter in the 12th for more godly things. Saturn in the 12th house. So Saturn in the 12th house is a difficult placement. I have Saturn in the 12th house, and what it means is when you were growing up, you kind of were deprived from feeling sad or feeling like you were deprived from feeling like alone. Your parents or your father in general may have not been present, so you didn't really know what authority was like. You don't know about authority. You also or maybe if your father was present, he was the type of person that was always happy go lucky, and anytime that there was a problem like in your house or something sad happened, your dad would have like laughed it off or distracted him and never really felt the sadness and aloneness and depression that comes with the stuff that happens in life. So now as an adult, it's like you're not allowed to feel sad or have these shitty emotions, because you're usually this positive person that feels responsibility inside for everything that's happening in the world, because you never really had a chance to feel alone and sad yourself, even though you did unconsciously. You have to feel that so that you can, sometimes you have to feel sad and alone and find your darkness so that you can grow from it. So you never really had that opportunity, which sounds good in a childhood, but as an adult, things are going to happen in life, and now you just feel responsible for everything. Saturn in the 12th house, you really have to learn that it's okay to be alone. It's okay to get sad and depressed temporarily for things that happen in your life. You have to really, wherever Saturn is in your chart, you have to work on that house. This is the house you have to work on. You have to work on meditation and spirituality, astrology. You have to find something that you can sacrifice to the world for you not to take in all the responsibility of everything that happens in the world. You really have to be organized with that. You have to a lot of like shitty thoughts to you. It can bring a lot of self-doubt, and you have to accept that that's okay. And then you have to learn what discipline is. You have to bring that to your awareness. You have to understand that you also may be this responsible person that carries a lot of wisdom from past lives. You've been around a few times with Saturn in the 12th house. Give that to the world. Give that sense of wisdom, responsibility, and like the wise grandpa. You're like the wise grandpa, I guess I see. And then work on, your relationships with authority figures. Uranus in the 12th house. Uranus in the 12th house would mean that you really have this tick inside of you to be individual and be this, outlaw or this out-of-the-box person, but you were deprived of that. Like, you think that the world goes around you and everybody is free and crazy and wild and you're just like stuck. You feel like you're in a prison and you want to get out, and so as a result, like, you kind of like hate the people that, have this rebel life, all the Aquariuses, and you want that. So maybe you'll do things that like show your rebellious side, or maybe you'll suppress it too much that you get uncontrollable anxiety, you get like panic attacks. With Uranus in the 12th house, it means that your inner treasure is your brilliance. So you need to really find a way to connect with God and show your brilliance to the world. Bring it out, be aware of it, and realize that it's okay to do crazy things sometimes without feeling bad for them. But with Neptune in the 12th house, this is its natural home, right? So Neptune in the 12th house really is telling you here that, number one, you know how to be selfless, you know how to be compassionate, you know how to help people and, you know, heal people and understand. Like with Neptune and in the 12th house, though, there's also no boundaries. It's in its own house. So this is a placement where they can really take on other people's emotions, not know what's going on, or that, you know, that it's other people's emotions. You can feel drained and depressed depending on the people that you're around. Everything is colorful with it, colors that you absorb. It's emotions, it's feelings. So you really have to build boundaries there. But at the same time, with Neptune in the 12th house, you have such great imagination. Your thoughts are probably super lucid. Your dreams are probably super lucid. And you're really psychic. You have almost magical healing powers. It's really a beautiful placement, but at the same time, being in its own house, Neptune can also bring about victimization, people who complain about their lives, people who feel like sad and sorry all the time. So with Neptune here, you really have to use it for more of a creative expression. Don't make sure that, you know, you try to do that without any drugs or alcohols or any alcohol that, you know, makes you want to transcend more. With Pluto in the 12th house. So Pluto in the 12th house would mean that you hide your powerful feelings, you hide your intensity, you hide your power, because maybe you grew up with parents who taught you that your power was not good. You know, you were bossed around a lot by your parents. They shut it out. You kind of feared, you know, one of your parents. And so you put your power away. But you really have all this built up Plutonian energy inside of you, which is intense, that, you know, it probably radiates to other people, but you just can't see it yourself because you're unaware. So Pluto in the 12th house, it really means that you have to find a way to express your power without like hurting other people. You probably hate people that have more power than you. You probably are a little jealous or something of like the Scorpios and 8th house people in this world, because they have that and you want that. And then also with Pluto in the 12th house, it would mean that you can like fall for, like, you can definitely have love affairs. You have hidden love affairs. You hide you repress your sexuality, and inside you're this really sexual, powerful, dominant being. It means with Pluto in the 12th house, since you don't have a healthy outlet to express a lot of your emotions because it's uncomfortable, because you don't want to have people understand your emotions because that probably will give them power, you bottle them up and then you really obsess. You obsess with like drugs or anything that helps you escape them. So just be careful with Pluto in the 12th house. Remember that your power is okay. You can express it. You can be this dominant figure in your adult life, and you no longer have to be powerless like a child. So thank you. That was my description for the 12th house. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.